Dr. Kyle, make the order at this time. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion and a second to adopt tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Second. Any additions to that agenda or deletions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Presentation and discussion of the budget for the fiscal year. Town manager.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to see everybody in attendance tonight. Travis tonight will be with us, and I'll go through, we'll just flip through his and summarize the information that's available in his packet, but we'll review everything there for their department. Tonight, the guys and girls have gathered together information for their own departments and things that they see for the next coming year that they'd like to discuss with you for the possibility of being covered in next year's budget. They're going to present, you've got printouts of everything, not to read over everything, but they'll hit the highlights. I'll let you guys review that this week. I'm going to pull figures together based on comments I hear from you guys tonight. We'll look at a rough draft of the budget at Monday night's meeting. Any questions that you have this week on this budget, please send it to us. The figures that are given out on the budget versus actual are going to differ a little bit. When we posted our amendments that we've done throughout the year, they posted wrong, so we've got FMS looking at that. It looks like we've got more expenditures instead of less. So we will have that corrected and present that to you guys on Monday with everything else. Once we get it corrected, I'll send it out ahead of time so I've got some good figures. But as far as overall expenses this year or projected items that are in need are kind of at a minimal. The fire department was basically looking at maybe increasing some of their operating expenses as far as repairs on vehicles. No one has anything astronomical outlook, especially being that we still have some projects going on with grant money being covered. Some of the things that are still listed as a continuance possibly for next year. I've reviewed the budgets before I left on vacation with everyone individually, and some of the things I've instructed them to go ahead and try to get those taken care of this year. So it may be things that will not have to be budgeted for next year. So once those are approved or completed, we'll check those off the list and adjust the budget accordingly. Okay. Y'all want to start in order that we have them in the book, or you want to start from the back and let Troy go first?
Let's let Troy go.
Okay, we're going to let Troy go first.
Hey Joe, I got a question for you
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
Do you know how much of an increase we're gonna get in ad valorem taxes?
I do not. I had reached out to them, and I'll be honest, I just got through today and Friday's emails. I don't have that, but I will send that to you guys out tomorrow. Taxes have been collected at 97.8%, so we're doing really well on ad valorem. But I'll get the increase that we're looking at from that. You know, we should capture all of Broad and Spring Street because they were all sold prior to January 1st. And then with the coming year, you know, we won't project those out yet, but the new subdivision on 109, still pending what Todd Yates is going to do with his. He's kind of debating on whether to still do the subdivision or maybe market it for a light industrial property again, just because there's some things out there that could fit that property. And then we've been contacted about another possible request for annexation for a property. So we are looking at, you know, a couple, 2 to 3 years more of increases for our property tax value. We'll get all of that. I'll have revenue projections and everything for you on Monday night. This was just to kind of look at where we are on expenditures and what the departments are all needing. Okay, Troy, I'll let you do your review.
Mayor, is it all right to stay seated, or would you like me to stand?
Have a seat.
All right, looking at the PowerPoint presentation, the first line item is professional services 20-820-04. My requested budget this year is $60,000. These are for, and I won't bother you with all the fine print, but laboratory services are expected to increase this year. We're expecting a 5% increase in the backflow preventer annual certification fees, and then our normal yearly services that we need, such as the meter calibration, fire extinguisher service, etc. Moving on to the next line item, 820-12, training and travel. My requested budget this year is $5,000. This is good because we actually have more certified people this year. So we're going to continue. This is sewer only. This is continuing education for 5 personnel, and 3 certification schools are expected this year. Certification schools are normally about $1,000 each with hotel, food. Now,
Let me just state too that some of that is employees out of Public Works because their cost extended because they do work for the sewer plant as well.
Maintenance and repair for the building, 820-15. My requested budget is $9,000. This needs to be amended. Looks like we're going to be able to get the tile floor replaced this budget year instead of next. And that budget came in after I got a updated request and a visit by Young's Flooring. They are out of Salisbury. That quote went down to $3,500.
A little difference there.
Well, $7,000 was from the tile place here in Denton,
First choice.
and I called Young's, and they came in at $3,500. So that will be taken care of. So I'm really only requesting $2,000. All we're wanting to do is paint the exterior of the building this year. We'll do that in-house.
Okay, so that $1,000 wouldn't do it if you were in-house, it will.
Sir?
$1,000 wouldn't do it unless you do it
yes,
in-house.
sir. Yeah, we're just gonna, we have a painter. So
Okay.
David's a painter, so he can spray that out pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, 820-16, maintenance and repair equipment. My requested budget this year is $50,000. We are needing to update some pump rotating assemblies for the pump stations as well as at the sewer plant. These are really getting old. The most recent one is 15 years. So they are at the end of their life cycle. So we're needing to get those replaced. We have a floating aerator at the sewer plant that we are having rewound about 3 to 4 times a year. And it's just wore slap out. So I would like to, that $50,000 is including buying a refurbished one or a new one if we can afford it. Blower maintenance, rebuilt, emergency generator installation and shelter. This is the emergency generator that was procured from the water plant, and we still need to have it installed by, what are those people?
Electric.
Shelby? Yeah, what?
Sanford.
Sanford Electric. Continuing second page, and I believe my compadre here is gonna request the same thing, but we need two more UMA actuators. We had 2 replaced last fiscal year, and we need the last 2 replaced this year. They came in right at $8,100 each. So I am requesting 2 of those. Let's see. Maintenance and repair sewer lines. This is just, requested budget is $20,000. That's just for Mike to fix and repair. Moving on to auto supplies, 820-31 line item. Requested budget's $4,000, nothing special there, just routine maintenance, fuel, and then I think my gas for my dewatering pumps and mowing comes out of that as well. Departmental supplies, and this is my biggest jump this year. My requested budget is $66,000. It looks like we're going to see about their expected increase of 5% for sulfur dioxide this year and chlorine, but mostly sulfur dioxide. Laboratory supplies have been increased by 15% since 21. We're not expecting that to change much. Things are still just going up. Since we really don't know where the tariffs are going to come in at yet, we have to expect the worst. Let's see, caustic. We're buying about 12,000 gallons a year of this. Right now, it's at 55 cents a dry pound. It is expected to increase to 58 cents in the next 6 months. Land application, sludge removal, 820-55. My requested budget is $34,000. This is primarily because of the, they may put a fuel surcharge on us if the fuel climbs up above $4 a gallon. Luckily, should not see that, but there is that chance. And we are also now having to pay the farmer $500 per land application event. That's to help her out with her taxes, I suppose. And but luckily we still have a farmer to land apply on, so I am grateful for that. That's really about it. Can I answer any questions?
I have a question. Please tell me that's not one of y'all in the car.
No, that was just a stock photo I found on.
It looks like Michael though.
It does kind of look like Michael.
That's the way he was up there on 109 that day.
Yeah.
On the building maintenance and repair,
I think it's me.
wouldn't it be more like $4,900 instead of $2,000?
We're gonna try to do the four
They're gonna do
this
that.
Yeah, we're doing the floor of this budget
Oh,
year.
gotcha. Thank you. I knew that something wasn't making sense in my brain.
But you know, you think at $500 is a lot to pay them to do the land application on the field. But if we could find another field to land apply on, what does it cost to get permitted?
Oh, gosh. With all the soil, it's 8,000, 9,000.
Yeah,
Get it
I know.
permitted.
It really ain't that much. It's just we're helping them a lot and putting it on there. Most people would like to get it.
And you don't have to go far. I mean, it's just right down the road.
Well, what you gotta
Correct.
remember is the farmers ain't farming no more.
Yeah.
So
That's what's hurting us,
It's
is that we're now between our two farmers, the Wood Farm down on Handy Road and then the Sexton Farm, they're now limiting us to what months or what weeks we can actually land apply. We've never had that before. Mr. Sexton, Joel, always had a field available to us. And it was great. I mean, we could do it anytime. Now we're having to wait until Mrs. Sexton wants to move the cows or medicate the cows, and so she's limiting us to when we can actually get on the field. That's making our job more difficult, trying to get the sludge ready. You know, we're having to wait longer to land apply than we used
Troy
to.
is at the water plant, until something gets done different at the water plant. We probably need to be hunting up another field or two. It's gonna cost.
Yeah, if anybody knows anything greater than 10, 20 acres, that would,
And it can't
I'd
be
like
around a
to-
creek or a pond.
no, it can't have a cemetery, a church, a school, a pond, creek, nothing running through it. Relatively flat.
What about malting, seed, and grain down the road? Like, he's got a lot of land that he has.
I had a request for that. And I brought it up to you. It's in Rowan County. Over there where I deer hunt, the guy that owns the property asked me about that. And you said we had somebody and
Yeah, I will be glad.
can we go to Rowan County with it?
Yes, sir, we can.
I think it's close.
That, the only thing I can see any problem with that is that it's amazing how large that river is because nobody wants to cross it. I mean, you're going from 336 area code to 704. You're also changing our district office. We're in Winston-Salem regional office. That's the Mooresville regional office. So now you're starting to change offices, and that might present a little bit of issue, but I'll be glad to investigate that. Absolutely.
We're right over there one day.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be glad to.
We'll meet the landowner.
All right.
So if we change to somebody else, do they have the permitting and all that? I mean,
Change to somebody from the farmer. We'll just add one. We won't drop any.
okay.
So as long as we can just get more land permitted, it'd be great. The farmer, Mr. Wood, we only apply on about 33 acres at his place. He doesn't want it anymore. And he only wants it one time a year in March. That's all he wants.
They just want to take advantage of the lines.
Yeah. Any more questions, Mayor?
Good job. Thanks.
Next, going to just keep going backwards, I guess, is water plant. Is the 2810 is the account numbers.
Number list, a lot of what the plant's gonna need, we're not looking to get grants for certain things. Some of them, this, like you mentioned, the cost of things are going up significantly. So for the basic stuff like the lab chemicals, supplies, it's seen at least a 10% increase. Some of the reagents for the labs that we use for doing testing has been higher than that, some 15% more just for the reagent things. One of the bigger things that, yeah, okay.
So you have plate settlers at the back of his presentation, where he went to the Madison plant. There's photos. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've got
okay.
them. If you wanna look at those, we're talking about.
And the Madison plant is built off the same set of drawings as Denton's plant.
It's pretty much an exact cookie cutter what the Denton plant was, or is. The plate settlers are a significant cost up front, but in speaking with ORC out there, the issues they've had, they do a lot less flows than we do, and they've still had issues even with their smaller basins. So he said putting these plate settlers in, it was like adding 100 foot of basin. The quotes I've gotten averaged around $645,000 for both basins. The two things to kind of consider with that are maybe if we looked into going that route, splitting them and doing one first and then one the other, maybe at a later time, because it takes, you're looking at a little bit of downtime to get these installed, but we're not going to be able to process water. So we would likely have to split it anyway. So I could split the cost between the two basins and look at that over time. The quote that I got was from Hayward Industries, and they're the ones that installed it up at the Madison plant. And they've really helped him out up there. He said before they put the plate settlers there, especially in the wintertime when the water gets colder, they were dumping basins and water like weekly just because the filters couldn't maintain. And that plant also does lower flows than us. So it's something that it's a significant cost up front, but over time it'll save money and reduce waste. I know we're also looking at getting that the reservoir put in beforehand too. That's going to help us a lot too. So the cost for the plate settlers are around $645,000. That's for both of them. Things outside of that are going to be spare pumps for the chemical feed system. Right now we run blue wipes. We don't currently have any backups. So we're looking at least getting 1 to 2 rather quickly this year. Each one's $3,500 each. So that's currently what feeds our alum, pre-caustic, or both caustics, phosphate, fluoride, and permanganate. They're all fed from the blue white pumps. We keep them just because they're easy to get parts for, maintenance wise, and keep up with. You can get them fairly easily, so we need to look at least getting 2 of those pumps this year. The chemical feed room, it'd be nice to get, I budgeted $3,800 to put the chemical feed pumps on their own skids with their own drawdown sight glasses. What the drawdown tubes let you do is pretty much, you got that pump feeding a certain amount of chemical, you can get a stopwatch and time how fast chemical's coming through the sight glass to know that that pump's actually putting out what you want it to. It can tell if things are, if it's not feeding as much, you can know something's wrong, and then by doing the drawdown, kind of fix things and troubleshoot just by doing the drawdown. It also kind of isolates the different chemicals from keeping them together by having them on their own skid, and then having each backup pump on each skid as well. For the chlorine room, I got a quote from Piedmont Chlorinators. It's 1,740 per scale. We would need 3 scales. The ones we have now aren't very accurate. They're old, so we need to look at getting those replaced. We did have our first phase of SCADA get completed. It was completed in March. It's running well and doing good. It's flow-pacing the pre-treatment chemicals. It's flow-pacing the alum and the caustic based on the water coming in, and it just automatically keeps up with flow changes. So if an operator goes to make a flow change, it'll automatically paste those chemicals there, which helps save improper treatment. Like as Troy mentioned, our actuators are failing. We've got one that's completely failed that controls filter 1, effluent going in the clear well. Then we've got a total of 3 that need to be replaced. The quote for each one, the one I got for the filter 1 effluent, the one that's currently not working, it's $88.54, and then the quote for the other 2 are $9,100 and $8,000 for the filter 2 and 3 backwash valves.
The one that's not working, what you need to get it fixed now?
It has to be replaced.
Well, they can do it
Replace
manually.
it. Yeah, we can manually go down there and crank it. So we have no control upstairs when we're doing filter washes or opening or starting and shutting down the plant. You have to go down and crank it. They go up and look at the little digital thing to see if the flow is where you want it.
And you got fixed in this year's budget?
Hope to, yes.
Okay.
That is at least 1 of the 3. The other ones are going bad. They're just not bad yet. This one, when I first started writing this up, was still operational. They went out about, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I would put in 82 or 4, I think, when this put in.
Just outside of that mosquito. So as far as staffing, we're going to see if we can get 1 more trainee on board. Right now we've got the 3 full-time. We're running, for the most part, 20-hour shifts between them, except on the weekends. That's when we just pretty much have a part-time staff. If we could get 1 more full-time trainee to kind of be relief or work weekends and nights, that would help out with especially going into summer with the higher flows. We're already doing higher than normal totals, and the longer that water can come through, be it the plant coming through, the better the quality's going to be, and the longer we can run our filters and just process it along better. So it's going to see if we can get 1 more trainee to become certified.
If you get the plates, will that cut your run time?
It'll help with what the plates will do, with the water coming through the plant so fast, especially in the winter, you get the flock to form. It just doesn't have time to settle in the basin before it gets to the filters. So by the time it gets to the other side of the plant, it's pretty much just washing all the filters. So the plate settlers are vertical units, so the water comes through them, and that the flock and everything else settles out before it goes into an influent soften into the filters. So it pretty much settles all of the flock before it has a chance to get into the filters.
It won't give you any more volume. It'll just give you cleaner water across the top of your filters where your filters will run longer. The only thing that's going to give you more volume is add that 4th filter that they designed when they built the basin, but we never put the 4th filter in.
Yeah.
But this will help with, this past winter, we had issues with the flock pretty much not settling at all and having to wash all 3 filters every day. These settlers will help with that significantly. We won't have a chance.
It will save some time, employee time, is what I'm talking about. You don't have to wash the filters as much.
Right. We don't have to wash
So
as
you're not
much.
making water when you wash the filters.
Right, it won't increase the volume per se
Right.
of water that we can produce. It'll just help with what we got with wastewater and filter load capacity. They won't like be able to, like I say, increase the flows actually, how much water we can bring in the process at one time. We can still do that, it's just without the plate settlers, it's putting a higher demand on the filters to where they have to be washed and backwashed more, and you're just.
And when you're washing and backwashing, you're not making any water.
Right, you're wasting money at that point. Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, I got you. Yes, sir. That's it. Yeah, and you're also sending a lot of money because that water that you're using to wash the filters has already been. It comes out of the clear well, so it's already had the cost involved with the chemical treatment to just get washed out to the creek and get with additional chemicals to get the chlorine out of it. So it's pretty costly to needlessly wash the filters. We try to get the creek right on that. Yeah. The sludge disposal, like Troy's mentioned, we're having issues with land apps. So with one of the grants I'd like to look into would be getting a belt press or a centrifuge or some other redesign to where we could process our sludge on site and not have to worry about finding the field to put it on. So we're going to look into maybe hopefully down the road getting a grant for that. Because it is, I imagine, as land gets developed more, it's just, 10, 20, 30 years from now, it's going to become more difficult to find land to put the sludge on. So if we can get something geared and ready,
Is that like
we
a
can
press?
process it on site.
Like a press.
Belt press, yeah. Belt press or something.
Like Random Dam water plant's got.
Montgomery County has one. I'm not sure about Redmond. They put a belt press in down there, and it makes it into like a little mud cake, and then it dries out, and you just take that dirt to landfill and dump it out without having to put it on any kind of field anywhere or land out.
One of I'm not
Oh,
trying
you're
to, but the water plant produced, their sludge is an alum sludge. It's completely inert. It has no beneficial value to the soil. So like Mr. Woods, he won't take it because there's no point in it. There's nothing there that's good for his grass. So that's why it's getting so hard for these guys to find land, is because farmer wants some kind of benefit. And luckily, the Sexton farm took it this year.
But does it have any detriment to the land?
No, sir, it's
It's
just
just-
dirt. I mean, it's just,
Okay.
just think of it as the silt on the bottom of the river.
So if it'll fill up a hole, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, it'd be great to fill up a hole, but it won't grow anything.
Yeah.
But you can't do that though.
No, you can't.
Because of the
If it's
alum.
got alum in it,
Yeah.
it's controlled by the state. But
Okay.
we get that said basin built, hopefully 90% of the sludge will be settled out in the basins, and it won't have any chemical in it at all. It'll just be.
Then
sold.
you can send that.
Then we
back.
can,
Yeah,
yeah,
fill
fill
it.
it all with it.
Like process it out of the filter,
Yeah.
you can sell it. Possible. As long as it doesn't have any chemical in it.
Yeah.
We can expand Denton a little at a time, just for spread it around.
Build up higher. No. One of our other bigger issues is communication at the plant. Anytime a vendor or a contractor or engineer or anybody trying to conduct any kind of business on the plant property can't, because we do not have communications down there. Cell signals anywhere outside of the plant, we don't have any communications. So we had Modern Edge technology come out and quote us some kind of Wi-Fi setup that would pretty much expand the perimeter of the property all the way from the back gate to the front. It's essential for communication, but also for safety, because there again, as soon as, like, if you have an operator there by themselves at nighttime, once they go downstairs and into the chemical feed room, there is no communication. All cell signals, AT&T, Verizon, no signal can get down to that little area there. High Rock Mountain from what I was told blocks most of the signal. So
My folks did at High Rock Drive.
yeah, just Verizon, AT&T, nobody can get services down there or get service. So at least if we got Wi-Fi communication down there, we could have them connect to Wi-Fi, and then they'd be able to communicate and even conduct a business still while on the site if they need to. There's been issues where they were trying to do work at the plant, but they've had to actually leave and go up the road just to make a phone call or receive a phone call. And it just becomes frustrating to them, understandably.
But you got Wi-Fi at the plant, right?
We've got Wi-Fi now upstairs in the
Okay.
building, just through little routers, cheap routers.
Yeah.
This was like an extensive cabling and it's throughout the whole
A
property.
booster won't help you.
No, we were going to try and go that route, it didn't seem like it would.
We have over the years looked at, we've communicated with like Verizon and Windstream, when we did the direct connect with them, for them to just get connection for our internet. But working with them to try to get some type of booster out there, if anybody had anything available in the system, and there was not anything. So this was actually recommended by Tavis, who does our IT work, to contact Modern Age Technology and see if there was anything that they could do to provide that booster. It really is kind of a booster, but it provides it throughout the whole property.
They'd have to run wire through the building essentially, because this Wi-Fi signals, even the boosters won't go through concrete very well. So even in the building, new cabling, that's a lot of the expense. New cabling would have to be ran to each room just to get the signal on site on the property itself. Outside of that, all the other supplies, we don't do a lot with the truck. I drive it, the operators use the pin trash. We conduct town business, so 2,000's been enough recently, so that should be about good for this year. That's. Any questions?
How's your building? That's in the maintenance of the building. Last time I was down there, it looked pretty rough.
Yeah, and also in some of these pictures here, I can bring it up, glad you mentioned something. At the Madison plant, their chemical feed room has been, their floor, it's been rehabbed, and you'll see in, I believe, this picture there. If not, I'll send it to you. Yes. See the chemical feed room? That's what I would like for ours to get upgraded to, and look, get the floor redone and get it just looking a lot nicer without the concrete coming up and chipping up. That's going to be
Which when we had the
tear it
walkthrough,
down.
we
Yeah.
pointed out everything that was going wrong. And I think that's gonna be on their presentation they give Angel for y'all, what needs to be done, year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We showed them everything wrong with that building.
And that would likely have to be a grant because it's extensive structural, possible engineering thing with the walls where they kind of.
Just that one place you can look through the wall, other than that, it's okay.
Sides.
You can do that at my house or something.
It'd be tough to put a number on that one specific project for the yearly budget. So we'll have to look into a grant more likely on that, unless we just start with the floors and get those resurfaced, but.
Yeah, with floors, it's just for capping on top of it. To level
He's
it up.
gonna have to have his concrete level.
Yeah, the whole, it's gonna have to be, I guess where they've, over the past years, I guess filled caustic and alum, it's just eat through the floor and all the.
Well, years ago, you remember the caustic and the alum tank was inside.
Yeah.
And they was on them pads. Well, now the pads stick up, and every time you walk in there, you trip over the pad. So you need to just raise the floor and get it level and just start over.
Repaint it, it's proper sealant and everything. Keep it nice.
When's the last time we did and walked in all the departments and looked at the water plant, the sewer plant?
It's been a couple of years, we can do that this year if I want to.
Well, that'd be done in one time.
Mayor up there on them plate sellers, you talk to Handy, so they'll jump in with us.
Plate setters, but even if we just do one, start with one.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do that within study, is to try to avoid having plate settlers, but I think they would work hand in hand, not having one or the other.
And the lagoon's out.
'Cause we
Oh,
was,
I don't know, I had a missed call from Daryl while I was gone, when I turned my phones back on, and I reached out to him today.
But I know at our last meeting, the quarterly meeting, it was kind of like they were wanting to go around the settlers. They
Yes.
were thinking that,
To just go with the lagoon.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard since then.
Yeah.
A force filter would really help that place out.
And the-
He was wanting, they had a budget meeting this week and they were wanting to kind of get some figures of what they were gonna have to pay out.
Okay, so that's probably, but I'll check on the lagoon stuff too.
So Lagoon will help with some of the stuff coming before it comes to the plant, but we'll still have material to remove from the water and flock that forms even in wintertime with the plate settlers, even with the Lagoon, we'll have to catch that and settle it out before it gets to the filters. So we'll kind of work hand in hand, but we'll still have things coming through the water that will need to be settled out before getting to the filters. Because even with low turbidities, at 2 in the wintertime, it still just gets all the way to the wall and just flushes over them troughs going into the filters.
Scotty, on the plate settlers, would Handy be responsible to go half of it anyway?
Should they?
Should they? On something like that, I would think so too.
But they like to know,
Oh, yeah.
if you do it, don't tell them, then they're gonna buck.
Oh, yeah.
And I would too.
We've got our meeting.
I would too. I mean, I have to say.
When's our next meeting with them? I've got it on the calendar, a tentative date.
We should have our joint meeting soon too.
It's about time for that.
The ORC and operator did welcome anybody that would like to come up to that plant and see the plate settlers in action. Like it's been mentioned, it's pretty much, their plant is a cookie cutter of Denton's plant.
What kind of crew do they have? How many people do they have working?
They do a lot less volume than we do. They've got 3. They run maybe 8 to 10 hours a day.
They serve Madison and Madan?
Just mainly Madison.
Just
Yeah, small operation, maybe 800,000 gallons a day.
I don't think their plant's on a big footprint either. If you'll look, there's said basins on one of them pictures. It's a real small pond. It ain't no big.
Yeah, the 7 lagoons.
I think he's got a picture of their whole setup.
They got more, quite a bit of pictures inside the building and all that. Is that the way it's
Yeah. Right there's their whole setup. That's not a lot of gallons of water out there. I don't think they have much detention time at all.
Oh, yeah.
One of our mayors used to be the manager up there. Madison Madan.
Did you see?
They said they were getting ready to lose that. They have an interconnection with somebody, as we talked about that. That's why they mentioned we would have to split ours because they interconnected with, I think it was Maiden, when they put these plate settlers in, they interconnected with them to take the water while they installed those. So this would likely have to sit, like I said, be split
Yeah.
because we don't have an interconnection to shut the process, to shut the water down and stop the flow from coming in.
I mean, honestly, I don't see how Handy can really say anything because they're the ones that are taking the bulk of our water. And we, in the summertime, when I work down there, it's everything that plan to do to keep up. I mean, you walk in the door, clear well 11 foot. You walk out the door 12 hours later, that clear well 11
We're
foot.
still doing, yeah, max flows.
It ain't gained not 1 inch. And that's as hard as that plant will run.
It just wasn't designed to do as much as it is now. It's, like I said, it's increasing as well.
Yeah, you got them new developments coming, and Handy's got new developments coming, and Montgomery County keeps talking about buying water. It's gonna have to get some volume increased to that point.
We can add on the 4th filter. There's also, it takes up less space. We can look into some plants like Harnett County do it. It's called a super pulsator. It takes up less space, but you can process it. It's like adding on the basin without putting the basin on. That doesn't sound like it makes sense, but and you can process water that way through what's called a super pulsator. Like Harnett County runs both, but I'm told Davidson County still has a super pulsator and conventional like we do with the basins and everything. So that's something else we can look into to increase volume coming in as well.
What's, these settlers are made out of steel,
Yeah,
right?
man, it's still, yes, you can walk across them.
Okay. What's the life of this thing?
I believe, He said
forever.
30 years, yeah, at least 30 years, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, most of them come with warranties and everything. So They're maintenance wise, they're low, so when you clean it, basically drop it and just spray them out and it's good to go.
You got two options. You got a tube seller and a plate seller. Tube seller is PVC. You can break them with a fire hose and water.
Yeah, they are difficult to
You got
maintain.
stainless steel plate sellers. They're about free. They're more expensive, but they're free.
Okay.
Complaints I've spoken to about the tube settlers have, not liked them. They haven't been ideal. It worked out just with even with having a maintenance staff on site, they have issues maintaining them. So, and the cost of upkeep and they're a nightmare. So. Questions?
Michael?
You know, I've heard grants like kind of now already. And all the engineers I've talked to said most of the grants are headed directly in North Carolina this year. So I really hope we can do something that it kind of scares me because I don't think the grant's gonna be like they have been the last couple of years. All right, let's start with the roofs. We had like 4 contractors come look at these roofs. Town hall, the roof at the water plant, down at the raw water, sleeping like everything, and the public works getting covered. We've got, these quotes are just all over the place, and the reason being, everybody that has come quoted them has quoted a whole different package to do the roof. You know, I reckon roofers, they all got their own little system they like to use. And ain't none of them even close to, being the same quote. So I don't really know what we need to do about that. Either call them back and tell them all to quote the same thing if they will, or call some different contractors or something. We gotta get that done.
I think the best thing for us to do is put out RFQ and tell them exactly what we do want. So like I said, every one of them are different. Like they're, even for just what we felt like was just applying a coat to his, every one of them was different.
And some of them say, every one of them say you gotta pressure wash it. Some of them say you gotta prime it, some of them say you don't. Some of them say, it's just, some of them say spray it, some of them say mop it. And the quotes are just, like I say, all over the place. I don't really know what to do about that. Like she said, we'll just pick the system we want and send it out to bid, and, that's what to do. Or you can, do like we done in the fire department, trust this place. And just do away with that flat roof altogether and be done with it. The little water plant roof probably wouldn't cost much to do that, because it ain't but a 18 by 18 built roof, something like that. It probably wouldn't cost much to do that. This one would be kind of pricey.
What are your thoughts on doing a trestle roof on top of this building? As the board, what do you think?
I personally think it'd be a better long-term solution.
Well, we ain't had no troubles at the fire department all since we done.
Other than that tree that went through it the other week.
You had a water plant, we had it done, ain't had no problem with that.
So having the trust, would that not eliminate the water issues that we're having?
Every bit of it.
So, I would think that'd be smart.
What were your prices?
Turn it into angels.
I'll send them out to you guys. They were anywhere from 9,000 on Michael's to 27,000, I believe.
Yep.
And that was for fine there. Here, it was about that much of a difference,
Yep.
because we have the type of roof that we have here, and several of the guys, and what most of them had said, is that this roof is sinking. So your drains are not draining well. That's why the water's retaining, because it's sunk in, and that's causing the block to absorb the ceilings and everything. The raw water intake, it was pretty much
The same thing.
within 2,000 to 5,000 each, depending on the cost. But I don't remember right off, so I will send those to you just so you have an idea of what they are. But
I remember Hazelwood was $10,000 if they used the
Yeah.
coating we already had.
No,
So that's
If
$10,000.
we don't use the coating we had, it's no good, right?
Oh, it's good.
What are we gonna use it for if we don't use it there?
Well, I mean, you got the water plant, or the sewer plant trailer, all that stuff. But I mean, you're gonna have the same problem with the new town hall in the next few years. It's the same roof we got up here. I mean, it's just as old, it's sinking too. As soon as that foam gets wet, it compresses, the drains get higher than the roof, and water just stands up.
Is that something that is included with Paul Briggs's?
No.
Have talked about it, okay, I didn't know.
But I mean, it's just something, you know, whatever y'all wanna do, just let us know, we'll get some contractors to price it. But if you wanna go to trusses, we'll try that route, 'cause I'm not about it seems like it's gonna cost just as much to get the roof coated and put some trusses on it.
I bet it costs, how much, Sam? 50, 60?
On which building?
This one.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, how much was the roof, 30?
Yeah. I mean, so if you're looking at 30,000 versus 50, but for a better roof system, I'm like,
That will be a long-term solution.
and they recently did that to the Denton propane building. I don't know if you have noticed that, but, they put that type of roof there. And it
I
looks
have not
really good.
noticed that.
You hadn't looked.
Yeah.
I think they shedded it off, they didn't A-frame it, did
Well,
they?
see, Troy just,
Yeah, it's not an
they
A-frame,
shedded it
it's
off.
just.
Yeah.
Troy just told me his building, that the wastewater plant started leaking bad too, same
But
as this.
We're, the office isn't in there anymore since we bought the trailers,
Yeah.
but, you know, where the chlorine and SO2 is, it is leaking.
All them roofs have just about outlived their life. So, just like I say, let us know what you want priced and we'll price it.
We'll get both prices so we got something to go by, because we can't price if we don't know.
So we'll send you out what we've received so far and
Yeah.
let you look at those and review them, and then you can say whether or not you want us to look. Because I think the best thing to do is to do an RFQ. That way you're stating exactly what it is that you're wanting, and everybody has to give you a price on that. And if they don't do that type of work, then they don't quote it.
And we've been dealing with this for 2 or 3 years, we might as well do it.
Yeah, as much money as we got in the SCADA stuff down there in that building at the water plant, it probably don't need to be getting wet.
Yeah.
I've got a tarp over it now, and plastic over it inside the
Oh,
building.
good, I feel much better. Is it blue tarp from Harbor Freight or what?
I got it practice flight. All right, let's, engines, I got one generator knocking and a motivator that's knocking. I had this in the budget for last year, just requesting it to be put back in the budget this year. In the hopes of one day I might find somebody anywhere close to here, which Angel gave me a couple phone numbers to call, that'll rebuild these engines. But everybody in this town has retired or left, or there's nobody in this town rebuild a diesel engine anymore, so we're gonna have to go out of town. Hard to haul a motor grader, so I gotta get somebody that can come, or I'll pull the motor for them, they'll just take the motor and rebuild it. But I gotta find somebody capable of rebuilding these two engines.
I'm sure somebody can do it.
Yeah, probably Greensboro, somewhere like that, or Albemarle or somewhere.
Does Plowman, do that down there at the curb?
The bucket truck, that is actually the bucket truck we purchased on that picture. So the old one's surplus, it'll be gone. The back truck, it had some issues. I got them repaired on this year's budget, so I didn't have to request anything on it. So that's running pretty good. Fire hydrants, that's a yearly thing. We got still a bunch of old hydrants in the ground. The hydrants are about $25, $65 a piece. The valves are no longer $350 a piece, they're around $900 a piece now. So, I mean, I'd like to replace 6 at least next year. I mean, I'd like to replace 12, but 6 will get us by. We ordered a third of the torch fittings for the fire department. We're installing them on the hydrants now. So next year, we probably budget the same thing, a third, and try to get all the hydrants in town switched over in 3
The
years.
new hydrants come that way, right?
I can order them that way.
Okay.
They're a lot more expensive, but I can order them that way.
They're more expensive than the retro?
Well, probably,
Not.
I like the ones that they come, I like better. Which I didn't get the cheap retros either. These are actually threaded into the hydrant. They're not screwed on like a cap.
Okay.
You actually take the factory part out and put this factory part in.
So the price on the hydrants, the 2565, is that with the new thing, or is that?
It's gonna be probably $3,800 for a hydrant with a storks and a valve sitting in front of it.
I mean, those torques are not huge thing for us as long as we're replacing the loan.
No, that's what I say, we're doing about a third a year, something like that. I've got a whole case of them over around to them. I don't know what capital outlay is next on mine. Like I say, we started a lot on this, 2-inch line replacement. We're scratching the top of the ground. I'd like to make sure we don't lose track of that. When Wooten gets done with our manhole assessment and our sewer line assessment, we need some money set back for water line replacement as well as sewer inflow, infiltration, repairs. Cause this washing Troy away steel. Hopefully, I was hoping when they done these manholes, they would find something, but till they do the smoke testing and all that stuff, they're probably not gonna find anything. That's probably a year down the road. But just keeping in mind that we need to set some money back. The radio read meters, they have started installing them. They're averaging 40, 45 a day with the little 4-man crew they got now. They had 2 crews last week. They was putting some meters in the ground. They're supposed to have 2 full-time crews coming back this week or next week. They're rolling pretty good on the meters.
Where'd they start?
Spring Prairie Road. They started at the village and come up, and Angel has a list. I wish I'd brought it for y'all to look at where they've been kind of cluster setting them to make sure they get radio signal like they want.
They did that one area down past you guys on Bonnie, so they could get the feathers out at both points, and then they started coming in. So
Yep.
They
I don't-
did some spring and broad, so I put it in the report last Friday as to what she told me they had worked on.
They're making progress. We'll see how long it takes them. But like I say, the repeaters are in. All of them. I don't think, has they done anything to y'all's hardware in here?
No, not yet.
But they're working on it. That's a good sign.
They did give us a link that we could go in and look at, but no, they've not installed anything on our computers.
Well, that'll be coming. Valve replacements, you know, we try to do some of these every year. 109, we still can't stop it. These insert valves, they're pricey, but we still gonna have to put a few of them in so we can actually cut big blocks of town off where we can cut in not near as expensive valves. So this was the price they quoted me the first, or about midway through last year. It's gonna be pretty close. The valves are gonna cost that. The installation is what costs so much. Mobilization fees, they're gonna go up. And like, you know, Troy and them talked about, I don't know what these tariffs are gonna do. All this metal's coming from overseas, India, China. These valves might triple in price in the next 3 months, I don't know. It's real hard to guess. But if whatever we budget, if I can do 6, I'll do 6. If whatever we budget, I can't do but 4. If they go up that much, I'll do 4. But just whatever we can budget for, we'll get done with it, what we can get done with. The service trucks, we replaced that Dodge. Really took a big hunk out of my budget buying these 2 service trucks, and I didn't have a choice on, I had to have. The old Dodge let me down, and I went on and spent the $2. If y'all want to, take it out of my back. But that is actually the pictures of the 2 service trucks we bought right there. Cummins diesel Dodge and Duramax diesel Chevrolet. All those supplies, pretty much the same as last year. You know, like I say, that's a tariff kill me. 1 set of tracks for the mini skid, or skid steer. 1 set of tires for it, the mini hoe, 1 set of tracks, pickup truck tires, dump truck tires, just odd and end oil filters, changing it. That's pretty much the same. Like I say, fuel's going up, pipe fitting's going up. I'm doing like Troy, just add probably 20% to everything we thinking about buying. We may be okay. We may be way off, I don't know. For fuel and all that, what we budgeted last year, we're gonna run the same miles. You know, we're gonna do the same jobs. So just figure just add 20% to it. That's about what we're gonna be. Leaf removal, I really hoped this was gonna work out, but I don't know. Our old leaf sucker, it's getting old. It's breaking down quite a bit. And I was over there getting drug tested in the city of Ashburn through our DOT, town of Denton drug testing. They're all policy.
Michael, you're not supposed to tell that.
But anyway, do they get drug tested?
We're not employees.
Okay. Anyway, as I was sitting in this office casually looking out the window, I seen the city of Ashboro getting up leaves this year. And I noticed the employee was sitting there with his little hair blowing in the wind, air conditioning, and he was in there by himself. And he had that little thing, and he was just clean his whistle and drove on down the road. I said, I want you to look at that. I started to steal that truck. I had it priced in just the truck, just the body, not the truck, not the chassis. $147,600. $147,600. That was it.
Reckon they got one
And then-
sitting on the lot just get it for $1.
Sure, $30,000 for a truck chassis.
Just needs tires.
$200,000. But I had looked and looked and looked, and I have not seen not one single used one for sale anywhere at all.
Tell Landon to look for one.
Huh?
Tell Landon to look for one.
Well, I mean, what do I budget for?
I don't know.
I mean, I got no idea because I have nothing to base it off of except $200,000 for it.
City of Albemarle has them too, and it's a one-man operation.
It is, but they say they don't get rid of it, they run them till they just die. Because they're $200,000. Okay, moving on from the dream world. The water tanks, I'm having them inspected now off this year's budget, so I don't need no money for that. Also gonna have the ROV camera set into the clear wells at the water plant. See how much sludge is built up in the bottoms. See if we need to drain them and clean them. From what we inspected Daniel Street the other day, he said we have about 2 years on the outside. It's starting to thin up, you can start to see metal. Inside, they're gonna do a washout this year, and we're gonna take a look at it. He said 3-4 years. So here in the next couple of years, I'm going to have to get it budgeted to do the outside painting and the inside painting on the Daniel Street water tank. We just had, one behind the drugstore done a few years ago. So it should be all right. They're going to inspect it anyway for it.
Cost was 2018, and
Yep.
it was $18,000 then to do that.
But Daniel Street is a whole lot bigger than that.
It is.
I figure $65,000 that paint outside that tank. And that's about it for me, except for I would like to add a position to Public Works. And I don't want to add a worker position, well, it's a worker position, but I want to add a Assistant Public Works Director position. For the simple fact that I'm either working at the waste plant, water plant, Public Works, going somewhere, dealing with engineers, dealing with contractors, stuff starting to slip through the cracks. I really need somebody to kind of shadow me, do the same thing I do.
I don't know what them shadow you or not.
Well, we're going to get somebody in here to start learning this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think somebody,
I mean, we had a talk the other day, y'all's 3 to 5 years out, probably. I don't know about Jason, I can't speak for him. Y'all's 3 to 5 years out from losing all the supervisors. We're getting older. And Troy covers,
Is he talking about you, Chief?
This gray hair don't mean a thing.
I don't know how long the chief's gonna work, but he's pleased, so that's not my ring. But, Troy covers wastewater, collections, distribution, land application, physical, chemical, and, backflow cross connection ORC, correct?
Yes.
If Troy walks out the door, David is grade 3.
Wait a minute. When?
When Troy walks out the door.
Yeah, what was it?
David is a grade 3 biological lab. He can take over the wastewater ORC. David has nothing else. You're gonna have to come up with a collection ORC, distribution ORC, physical chemical ORC, backflow ORC, and land application ORC. I've got all of them but land app.
You wear many hats.
Well, my guys have nothing,
And when he walks out the door.
zero.
And it hadn't part of, I mean, our sidewalk project, wasn't that something that you'd even, that we talked about, that we never really get done? You don't even have time to do that, do you?
I'm putting up steel at the wastewater plant right now.
Yeah.
Every morning I'm hanging on them. Which they wanted $30,000, I think, to hang them sheets of aluminum. We're gonna hang them sheets of aluminum. We'll be doing that in a week or so. But anyway,
So how many's on there now? How many have you got now?
well, there's what, 5?
Well, you've got 4, and David splits his time with.
We got David's half a day and 4.
Wastewater and public works.
But I've gotta have somebody that can pass state exams
That's where our problem is.
and want to move up in this town and become ORCs and leader supervisor. And right now, I'm drawing a 0. And I hate it, because I mean, I've tried to talk to them, I've talked to them till I'm blue in the face. There's nothing else I can do with them. I can't make them read a book or study, or if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it.
No.
But it's costing us for their.
Oh, it's costing us a
testing,
fortune.
So,
If you'll look at, well, I didn't get my other sheet, that other printout I gave y'all, like at my schooling budget. The state of North Carolina has now come up and said, I've carried the pesticide license for the town for the last 15 years. Now the state of North Carolina's come up and said, can't do that no more. If he picks up weed killer, he's gotta have his own license. He picks up weed killer, he's gotta have his own license. Ain't no single one of my guys can pray the side of the road now until they pass that exam and get their own license. So that's another school. And I got it on here. How much did I put for that school?
But they don't wanna go, they're not gonna go, are they?
Well, if they go, they'll go, because it's a free place to stay and free meals. Don't matter if they go,
They just get
it's
past
if
the
they
test.
pass the test.
Because they don't want to go, they'll just go.
It's like
That's
a
what I
clean
mean.
house.
Yeah,
I mean, I can make it mandatory they go,
that's
but I
so good.
can't make them pass the test. So right now, I'm the only one legally can pick up a jug of weed killer, walk down the sidewalk and spray it.
Wow.
I mean, it's, the regs is getting worse and worse and worse.
The only other option is that you contract that out, but, you know, there's times that we need that outside of having a
Yeah.
contractor do it.
That's getting more expensive. But I mean, I got the same as Troy. I got distribution schools. I've got CDL schools, and now you can't just go take the test and get your CDL license. What is it, $6,500?
It's a month too, isn't it?
It's a
You have
while.
to go through the training at the college.
I got me and one other guy got CDLs. So I gotta get some CDL drivers. I gotta get some, distribution collection operator. I gotta have some, pesticide operators. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just money. Every time the state turns around, it's money. They keep adding all these licenses, but we do have to get somebody that can, like if I take a week off or I get hurt, I'd like to have somebody that can go. He's not gonna be here for a month. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. But right now, my big problem, if they was short circuit these line things, I'd be a whole lot better off.
Are you thinking trainee, or are you thinking somebody with experience?
It depends on how much money y'all wanna pay.
I would post a job, bring somebody in here, interview them,
I'm gonna say.
see what's out there.
I'm gonna say between somewhere in the $25 range, 27, 25. If you could pick up somebody worth having, that's actually got some sense and will pass these tests.
But as we've talked about it, it's gonna take a minimum
Yeah.
of 3 years.
Unless they already have some license,
Unless they already have some license. If
which
you
means
start
hiring
fresh,
from
you're
another
talking
municipality.
Yeah.
Okay, then you
They
need
steal somebody if you can.
That's what I'm talking
That'd be
about.
cheaper.
You gotta have enough money to steal somebody.
Be cheaper in the long run.
But I want the town to remember that, 3 to 5 years. this whole town's gonna flip. And we gotta have somebody to flip it to in 3 to 5 years.
Well, that's something we talked about. We talked about it, but we
For
really need to
years.
get serious about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, y'all know I can't believe what kids make nowadays. I mean, my daughter's boyfriend, he makes like $87,000 last year. You know, he's home he goes in early, but he's home every day like 2 o'clock. These 25-year-old kids, they're making $60,000, ain't nothing to them. I mean, they're sitting there going, I ain't going to work for that. You know, and they're making it. They're actually making that kind of money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I understand we're a small town. We ain't got much money, but we got to have ORCs. We ain't got to have a lot of them, but we got to have enough of them.
We gotta be able to run the town.
And I mean, Troy and
I'm
Jason.
looking, going into hopefully some schools, but like I said, it's gonna take years before I can get certain certifications. You have to sit in a certain spot for like
One water year, it takes
Yeah.
you a year to move up one spot in water.
one level a year. That would take 3 to 5 years. for
Takes
certain
6
things
months
to
or
go
so.
for.
If we do send somebody to school and then they flub the test, is it possible that they have to reimburse us?
That'd be all in
Three
there.
times.
That's
That'd be hard
The way
to
we,
get blood out of a turnip.
the way I've done it at the water plant is, because we've had that situation where somebody came in, they didn't care if they failed, it was just a job until, as long as we kept sending them, they kept going. So we give them, if they go to school, sit for it, and then say they failed the test, I'll give them another, and this is all written out before they get hired, I'll give them another in-house test within 2 weeks of finding out they failed. That in-house test is similar to what they would get at the state level.
Yeah, I can
If
print the
they
test
fail that,
online.
then we part ways then if they fail that test then. If they pass that, we give them another chance. Because sometimes good people fail the test the first time it happens. But if they can prove that they've at least initiated and learned the core concepts of it, then we'll still work with them to bring them up. But they would have to pass that in-house test within a certain amount of time. That way you can kind of flush people out that are just, they don't care about it. It's just a paycheck for a couple of years until they hire them.
See, what gets me about a lot of people I've seen take tests, you gotta send that test exam in 30 days ahead of the test. You do not have to take that test if you're not ready. You can skip that cycle and take it at the next time. But I've never had anybody skip it. They always go take it. Well, how'd you do? Well, I didn't do so good. Well, what didn't you know? Well, I missed every one to math and I missed this. We went over to math. How did you miss it? Well, honestly, I just didn't have time. I didn't even open the book. Well, then why did you just cost the town all this money to go take that blind test if you know you was going to fail it? But like I say, they just keep writing checks. Go take the test. Write a check. Go take the test. Y'all done spend enough money in tests to pay somebody good.
That's where you better get somebody certified. Because how much did that last one cost you in round figures, Jason? The one that didn't make it?
Who's last one for you?
How much is the school? $1,000.
School itself is what, $450?
And the hotel room on food.
And a hotel.
But how much did we pay him all this time preparing?
20-some thousand for the course of the year. You're looking at $20,000-$30,000 in salary and benefits.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And all that.
That's what you gotta look at.
Yeah, the cost of training, the money you put into training them for just.
Because he wasn't doing it, he couldn't be by himself the whole time, so he was
Right.
just,
So you gotta pay 2 to be there or have somebody else certified there
right.
at that point.
Like I say, the only way you're gonna do it is steal somebody. And other towns are sitting there talking, just like we're talking right now. We can't lose Troy. Let's give him $4 an hour more. It's cheaper to keep him than train somebody else.
That's right.
So I don't know, that's gonna be a big fight right there. I mean, it is. For a small town, we don't have a lot of money, but it's gonna be a big fight. I mean, we just gotta do it. And I mean, it would help David out when Troy leaves, because David's gonna need help. He's gonna have a trainee to work under David. So you're gonna have to replace David's position if Troy leaves. So there'll be another half-day employee, because he's gotta learn the sewer plant.
And David's not, how can I word this?
Well, David's what, 60?
That's, what's it?
Yeah, he's 60 now.
You get maybe 7 years out of
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
that's what my
he
question
said
was
at 65 and a half, he's done.
So 5.5 years, what you gonna get out of that?
On a good day.
And the water plant, the ones we have now, like Thomas and David, I'm pretty much training them kind of a dual role. David just went to physical chemical school and is gonna take the test to be a backup ORC for the wastewater side of the guy, so we'll work alongside that. And then Thomas is gonna kind of continue getting certifications to where if, I'm not planning on going anywhere unless y'all agree with me, but if something were ever to happen to me, he could easily pick up.
So y'all gonna have a land app guy?
Yeah.
He's going to send somebody to land app, for water plant land application. Because that's on a whole separate schedule than Troy's land app.
So how different are we from another small town our size? Like, who can compare to us?
Not many have all the services that we have.
See, that's what is misleading on them things. When y'all look like city expert, we got this water guy. This water guy does water. That's it, nothing else. Here, you do water, wastewater, land application, physical, chemical. You do every single job that every other job in that town has different departments of doing. So they got just one guy that does water, water meters, water line repair. We got one guy that does everything.
Because they just have lots of people that work there. I know somebody that their job in Ashburn, they collect water out on the lake.
Yep.
Do the chemical part of that, that's
That's all they
their
do
job,
right
that's
there,
all
John,
it
but pick up
does.
samples.
There's dedicated personnel to each position versus here having him doing 4 full-time jobs under one of
If you can
them.
give me an application for that, I'd like it. I ran on that John boat on that lake.
I'll be back with
I like for that one.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I say, y'all, I hate it, but it's going to be done. I just don't know how much y'all want to budget to do it, if y'all even do it, but it's, sooner or later it's going to be done.
We'll do it sooner or later, that's right.
We're gonna have
And the
to.
later seems to always catch us.
Any other questions for Michael?
Mikey, you had down something about grants. Did we ever get a grant writer last year? There was money in the
We
budget for a
was
grant
gonna do
writer.
our grants,
Please
thank
don't do a
Is
grant.
that one doing it for anybody and everybody, or just for water sewer?
Water, sewer, and then, we've got a contact for a local person who does grant writing. So I know that she's gonna be looking at some grants. Now, we did use a grant writer for the fire department this past year to get that FEMA grant. They did okay. I think Brandon and I did a lot of the work, and they just made it look pretty. So I don't know if it was worth the cost that we paid for them or not.
Usually gotta put the right word in there for them to figure it out.
Yeah, so, but we do have a couple local people that we found out are grant writers as well, so,
Have they already gotten grants before?
yes.
Good.
So we'll look at budgeting again for that, so that we've got assistance with that. I don't know if any of your staff in-house has written grants before, Cloud Filter maybe.
I know he's helped us on it. He did the whole thing around last year.
So we'll look at budgeting for that.
Didn't we receive some funding for a grant writer
And we've been talking about
from
something.
the
We
state?
did, but you know, I've never heard back from that lady, and I reached out to her several times. Put a note on
I thought it was like $30,000 or something.
I'll put a note here, to see if I can find out where they are, because they just never call back.
I'll tell you what, we better have a good, like I said, they told me West North Carolina, got money up.
Oh, yeah, they are.
That's what's projected when I attended the managers conference in Winston. The league was there, and they said, you know, the majority of the funding will go to the western part of the state. Grants will be very few for anything else, so, you know, to budget wisely, because they're just not sure what's gonna be available for everybody else until they can get that settled.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it is.
Which I mean, that's why I've been trying to start back doing a lot more stuff in-house. You know.
If we give you extra hands, that'll help you, right?
Well, yeah,
Can you lay water and sewer lines like we used to?
depending on what else we gotta do, but I mean, like down here, we saved 90,000 doing the first clarifiers, is what Russell Underwood told me. And then we saved, how much was the oxidation ditch when we had it quoted?
way back when, 250,000.
We done it for what, 20,000?
Yeah.
So that saved us a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
We're doing a clarifier right now that they wanted $30,000 to do, that I done bought everything to do it with. So my guys, we'll have it done hopefully by the end of the week, maybe or next week. That's $30,000 we ain't gotta blow. If we can't get grants, we gotta save money.
Right.
We'll review the fire department's request. There's not a lot that they're looking at increasing. We are currently at $12 per call and looking to raise those to, $11, excuse me, looking to raise those to $12 per call. Again, this will probably all depend on how we move forward with the fire department, as far as how much the calls are and how that plays into effect. Chief's pay increased from 7,200 to 10,000. I think we did an increase last year as well. And that capital outlay is that they're going to apply for a 50/50 state grant for turnout gear, and that'll be to replace fire hoses, asking for 60,000 total with 30 matching. So 30 from us and 30 from the state, and to replace outdated gear and purchase new gear for part-time employees that don't have gear that's provided by the fire department, and then replace 1 3/4 tack hose and nozzles that many are 15 to 20 years old, and that would also with the new low friction and low pressure hose and nozzles. Fire reporting software. So the county has changed over their software to Fireworks, and when I talked to the fire marshal a couple weeks back and the EMS director, they are very happy with this Fireworks system. It actually replaces all the systems that we have. So they could be able to put their reports in, their training, everything into one system instead of having multiple systems. And how many fire departments did they say were already over on that? It was like 3/4 of the counties already on the system. So Travis is looking into what it would take for us to switch over to that. And then for future is replace the 2001 International Tanker Truck Rescue 39. Will be paid off in 2027. And when we did that, initially we increased the payment so we could have it paid off within 7 years, with the intent that we would start the process for the next truck. So build out is 1 to 2.5 to 4 years. So if we start the process in a 25-26 year, we could get the cost in 27-28 and possibly 29-30 before we get the truck. So just to keep that in mind, that we may want to start the process of that soon in order to get that truck in production. And as listed there, the cost 1.1 to 1.2 million currently. I think we paid Commissioner Morris 600,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so quite an increase from what we were at.
Lexington just ordered one, and theirs is right at $1 million, and it's 2 years out.
Yeah, most definitely. So, lots of increases there that there's not any other options for. Chief, do you want to go next?
The first thing I provided you with was the current fleet of police vehicles, and the mileage you see there is as of April the 9th, so certainly that has increased since then. And I will just update you some of the issues we're having. Car number 2, we just had it, M&L Chrysler. Thank goodness it's under warranty. They just did $8,500 worth of work, replaced cams, push rods, and lifters, put it all back together. We got it back We got another misfire, light come on that's back at the dealership now. And they're gonna have to completely do the head on the right side. So no telling how much longer that car is gonna be down. But you can see, the Tahoe that I'm assigned's got right at 121,000 now. We got several vehicles over 100,000 miles. They're getting to the point where we're spending a lot of money on them. Car number 4, which was the North Carolina Highway Patrol car we bought, still runs good, but it's got a evap light on, so it's currently at a place trying to do a smoke test to see what's going on with it. The used Explorer that we bought from Landon had a light come on. We took it to Plowman's. We spent about $400 and some. That light's back on again, so not sure exactly what's going on with it. So it seems like a lot of my time lately is expended moving cars back and forth and trying to get spares. But thank goodness you approved some spares, otherwise some of us would be walking right now. So wise decision you made in the spares. I provided you what the cost of some vehicles are. You see the Ford Explorer. And all this is a guess right now because the word tariffs, we've heard it several times. Nobody knows what it's gonna do to metal cost. We've been spending about $11,000 to upfit a car. That's what you can do normally. But I will tell you that we worked diligently on the 2023 upfit of Captain Clodfelter's car. Most of what we got was free from other agencies, so we saved a lot of tax dollars by buying a 23 model and upfitting it with parts that we could place together from other agencies. We just got some more watch guard cameras and docking stations from High Point. So we continue to do what we can to save money. You can see the warranty on the Ford Explorer is a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty, which is not great. The next slide, you can see the cost for a 2025 Dodge Durango. And I will tell you that I don't know what you will approve, but I'll keep driving what I've got till the wheels fall off. As long as my guys have got something decent to drive, that's more important to me. I do worry about the cost we're spending on that Tahoe, and I'll tell you that on the driver's side, there's a place that is rusting out under the rear door. That's probably going to continue to get worse. Exactly what caused that, I don't know. The good thing about the Dodge Durango, right now they have a better warranty. They've got a 5-year, 100,000 mile for fleet vehicles, which is how we were able to get the car 2 fixed at no cost so far. So we're fortunate there. I've also provided you, or you can see for the Dodge Durango, it's about $53,745 for a police officer vehicle. And you can see it's less, I'm estimating about $46,600 for an admin vehicle. I did contact Shannon Morris, ask him to give me a price on a 2025 Tahoe. Not a lot of love shown there. They said they would waive the dealer fee, prep fee, and it came out to $65,095. On the state contract for a 2025 Tahoe, it's about $53,006.98. You can see the colors that vehicle is available in. And that is a 4x4 versus a regular 2-wheel drive. If I'm going too fast, just halt me and I'll slow down a little bit. You were gracious last year. We got our rifles replaced. We were able to buy some used shotguns for the less lethal weapons. It is long overdue for us to purchase pistols. According to the manufacturer, some of our pistols are approaching 10 to 15 years of age. The normal life of a police gun is about 5 years. So in the event we were to have a police officer in a shooting, his weapon malfunctioned, we could be facing legal action if the age of the guns could be argued was the problem. I can tell you that on the range, we have very little issues with the Glock pistols. However, that possibility does exist. I've got quotes for 2 type pistols, 12 pistols in the Glock, 45 9mm MOS 6 with the AmGlow would be $10,161.88. With that weapon, we could use the current lights that we've got, and we could use our current holsters. I can tell you that we've been battling with the Governor's Crime Commission. We intended to apply for a grant. We got communication that because Davidson County was a tier 2 and not a tier 1 poorer county, that we couldn't even apply for the grant. Apparently there was some communication throughout the state with the Governor's Crime Commission, or the Governor's office. They've now said that we could apply, but that the priority will be given to the poorest tier 1 counties. And again, Davidson County is tier 2, so I don't know whether we would even be awarded it. My sense is that if a lot of tier 1 counties, they're pushing Viper 800 radios, they're pushing body cameras for the poorer counties. I got a feeling that they would get awarded the grant and possibly we would not. Also quoted the 6 Sauer P320 X VTAC 9mm with the SIG Romeo green dot optic, and you can see the total cost there is about $10,327 for that weapon.
So the guns are actually less expensive, but what makes it close to it is that we would have to get new holsters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which would y'all rather have? I mean, we're not gonna shoot them.
Personally, me, I like the Glock just because if they get dirty, they still fire. There's been some issues with the P320 and the older models with some of the guns going off in the officer's holster. Supposedly that has been rectified.
Yeah.
Davidson County Sheriff's Office has the P320, and an interesting tidbit of information, Senator Jarvis found money to pay for all of their weapons at no cost to Davidson County taxpayers. I reached out to the senator and said, hey, can you find us $12,000 for weapons? He said, no, all the money's going to Western North Carolina. I got a bill today for $2,700 for IT for Davidson County, where they maintain our mobile computers that are installed in the police cars. So very frustrating to me that we've got less tax dollars than other people and we pay county taxes, but we don't seem to get a lot of benefits. And with permission of our manager, I did send that to our chairman of the county commission and said, hey, another example, we pay county taxes just like everybody else, and here we are, we got a bill for $2,700. They don't expend a lot of time maintaining our computers, I can tell you that, but at any rate, we've got the bill. So that's where we are. As you recall, some time ago, we had the active shooter incident just outside of town off Sexton Road. That pointed out a need for rifle plates to protect our personnel. Asked them, would you like to see in this budget? And that's one thing they were very clear that they wanted. If we were to get 8 rifle plates, it would be $1,825. That's a level 3 with the magazine and radio pouch and police insignia on the front and on the back of the vest that will contain the rifle plate.
Is that each or that's total?
That's total, $1,825, which is a small amount of money to pay for all of our folks to be equipped with that. To me, all of these cars are great, but you know what? If we don't have people, we don't need cars, we don't need rifle plates. You know where we've been, you know where we are today, thankfully, because of your support. We did a very quick salary study, and we are behind the 8 ball once again. I provided you what our hiring rate is. I provided you what Thomasville PD is, and Thomasville is intending to give a 3% pay increase for every rank on July the 1st. I've also got the Davidson County Sheriff's Office salaries for you. They wouldn't give us the sheriff's salary, but the chief deputy, you can see he goes from 81.7 to 126,740. And you see captain, sergeant, deputy 2, and deputy 1. They are probably gonna get a 4.5% COLA plus a $500, and they're doing a pay study, and the sheriff is asking for a 17% pay increase. No idea what they will get. Also, you see Lexington PD's salary there. They're looking at a 5% COLA on July the 1st, and they currently have a pay study underway. I was pretty amazed when I saw the salary of Locust PD, and their chief, I know he's a retired trooper, no supervisory experience at all. You can see what he's making, $91,000. Their captain's making $79,000, sergeant making $70,000. Patrol officer makes $45,000 to $57,500. Norwood PD, their chief makes $90,000, captain $77,000, sergeant $61,500, and you can see the range of the patrol officers. Of course, I've got Albemarle PD, a much larger agency, what they make. And I was very astounded recently to see what Allied University Special Police, which is a company police, what they would start an officer at right out of VLET, $78,500, which really took me back. That was pretty shocking. I know we've talked a few times about National Night Out. In the event you saw fit for us to have National Night Out, I think it's a good community event. If there's money there, I would request $600. My idea is that a police officer would be cooking hot dogs, grilling hot dogs for our citizens, our kids, and have some other stations and hands outs and things of that nature. I think it's a good event. A lot of planning, a lot of time involved, but I think it's well worthwhile.
I believe we find $600 cheap.
I think it would be a good thing. And I'm just guessing what it may cost for the food. Hopefully we'd get some folks who would help us at a reduced cost since it's a community event. I see a need for a tent for us to set up at events. We've done them before at Harrison Park, sit out in the hot sun with no shelter, and that's pretty hard to do when you're fingerprinting kids and things of that nature. So I did some researching for $999. I guess they want to keep it under $1,000. We could get a cover with our badge on it for the table and a tent with Denton PD badge and something similar to what you see there. Be glad.
Sorry. We did reach out to local, and they said it was much cheaper to be able to do it by these specials that they run because of the way that they're used to printing on the tents and things like that. So
I went through pretty quickly, so any questions you have, be glad to answer them as best I can.
if you received the cardiac cards today, please disregard.
Chief, are you asking for 2 cards or 1 card? I guess that's what I don't know.
What I didn't tell you, and thank you for saying that because it reminded me what I didn't tell you. Currently, as of April 9th, and it sounds like it might have changed, and I hope I don't shoot myself in the foot by telling you, but we worked diligently to save money. When they handed me my budget on April the 9th or thereabouts, we had $255,000 left. A lot of that's lapsed salary money because we worked by ourselves for quite a long time there. Some of that is upfitting the cars that we sell. If we order a car by this coming Thursday, they didn't give us much time, we can save $2,500. They tell me that the 2026 model year may go up as much as 25%, depending on what the tariffs do. They originally gave me the price on that car that was good through June 30th. Then I got another email that said they're gonna cut the order off this Thursday, which would give us the $2,500 off, which is what I quoted in here based on what they told me. So it would actually go up $2,500 more if we don't order that car. And you may have seen that in some correspondence you got from Paul and updates she sent you last week, I'm not sure. But
Which car is that, Chief?
that is a Dodge Durango,
Okay.
only for Dodge. The other dealerships are not offering that. I like getting what I can get the cheapest with the best warranty. And right now, Dodge has the best warranty, 5 years, 100,000 miles. The rest of them, 3 years, 36,000 miles. No matter what breaks, it's your problem. So just food for thought. If we had the money, and I don't know what we've got, it sounds like it's changed a little bit based on updates. And I know some stuff maybe wasn't in training we talked about. But if we can save money and the money's there, to me, it's prudent to do it. We need 2 cars. We're gonna kick the can down the road if we don't get to. You look at the mileage, you consider the time it takes to upfit that car, get all that equipment, especially with tariff increases and all this steel that goes inside a car. We don't know what the future holds. We got a part today from Havis, and I looked on the box, it's for a docking station. It's made in the Netherlands. So I suspect that'll be going up by whatever percent the government's agreed on. So I don't know what's currently there. I'm just saying if it's there, and you see fit for us to get a car, we can save money by at least placing that order by Thursday. Otherwise, after Thursday, $2,500 more at least, if we can still get a 25. If we get a 26, I'm sure the cost is going up.
We're at the end of April. I mean, of course, not all expenses are posted out for April, but, at 76% of the budget currently, there possibly is that wiggle room to get that vehicle this time.
Before the end of this year, and
Yes,
then
and then have
look
one
at
in budget
one
for next year.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was over here doing.
So, but that does mean that we would need to order it before Thursday.
I'd say order it, Mayor.
Yeah.
Can I have that as a official motion?
I make a motion, Mayor, we go ahead and order this car.
I second.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We got enough for 2 cars?
Well,
One next year's budget, what you saying,
yeah,
Mayor?
I'm thinking next year's budget, unless you want
In
to.
July.
Unless you want to do an amendment.
And if you feel confident with that, not to interrupt you, if the money's there, and I think if I tell them we want one this budget year, one next year's budget, I think we can still save that other $2,500.
Not figure it, and you grade. Figure it, you graded this, figure it $52,000, 25% onto that, if it goes up that much.
Well, it's not 25%, it's just
2,500.
2,500.
No, I know that's the rebate,
Oh,
but the tariff price,
Yes, they're, the dealership.
2,500 possible.
They're saying
What would
they
that
don't know what the
next year
26
be?
price will be.
65, and then add on the
Well,
2,500 you didn't get. It's gonna cost you about 6,800.
That's 46,600.
41,600 plus your 2,500.
I think it's a
you missed that.
53.7. You getting U1 and a regular car, is that what you want?
Well, if we can only get one, let's get it for the other folks.
What number am I starting with?
41,600 plus the 2,500.
Can you do without air conditioning?
I've done it before. I remember growing up riding around those vinyl
And cheap
seats.
tire?
But
But I will
53
say, and so
That's
that's
it.
that at 25%.
Yeah.
I will say that the Chief Tahoe has increased in having issues this year. He's had in his shop quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit more than what we've had over the past few years anyway.
Wasn't the transmission messed up on or something?
It was, when you pull up to the stop sign, it would take off on its own. Now, I had the fluid changed at the Chevrolet dealership. That has helped that problem. But I've had oil leaks that have just, all kinds of hoses and different things.
If we took it from like the upfitted cost of 53,745, if we start with that number, we'd be looking at $67,000 for the same car.
Versus 53 now.
We make another motion, Mayor.
I'm all for it, that's it.
I make a motion that it goes ahead and tells them we're taking another car in July. Is that what you say? And let it be your car. Let the first one be your,
Let the first one be the police officers.
that would be your car.
And hey, if the Tahoe keeps running, I'm fine with it, but at some
If we
point,
sell a Tahoe now, it's gonna bring pretty good money.
Yeah.
So we need to think about that going out the door, you know.
Absolutely, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
and online, they're bringing $12,000 to $14,000.
yeah. It's gonna bring good money and it's,
Yeah.
until you wear it plumb out.
Right.
All right,
So-
we vote?
Yeah, we need a motion on the floor, so
Okay,
need a second.
Second.
second,
All right, then,
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote that passed.
If you just get a conveyor that easy, Troy.
Ain't that the truth?
I got your back, there ain't much to it.
any other questions for Chief James?
I think he did a good job on his presentation.
All right, Ms. Holland.
Okay, so starting on mine, I have put together some images of some wayfindings. This could be used up on Highway 109, even around town, directing people as to what is in what direction. This is a basic design. I really like Lexington's, and I've reached out to find out who they used to get a better price, but doing a 24-inch by 18 inch is going to run about $82 with this style of design. Going to the next slide, we've talked about doing a mural for probably 2 years now, and I've reached out to an artist that has done several, but the one that draws my attention the most is the one that's in West Jefferson, and I've got a small image of it there. That one was done, it's a kind of a unique process. The design is put on a canvas or sheet, some kind of material. It is actually painted by part of their arts guild as well as students at their local middle school. And then she seals it and uses a adhesive to put it on the wall. I've shared with her the wall that we were looking at. I did reach back out to Mike Morris to make sure that they were still in agreement to doing that wall, and they are. I did ask her for an estimate with this process, and she said 12 to 16,000, which is not bad compared to what I had checked 2 years ago for a painted piece. And she said if she didn't have to travel here as much to work with the students, it would probably be on the lower end of that. I did provide her a concept. Our motto is a great place to live and grow. So we came up with a concept for, potentially a mural design. And so I gave her that as kind of guidelines to go by. And I did make the image a little larger on a separate sheet. It's a lot of detail in this print. This, of course, is a different, the building is higher versus elongated, so I'm not sure what she would come up with for us, but there's a lot in this print and tells a big story.
So it's not gonna be this, this is gonna.
No, I just
Yeah,
gave
I thought.
one of something that she has done. This one is actually in West Jefferson. So
Did they incorporate the history of Denton, like the things that stand out?
she can. She'll get more information from us. There is detail as far as information on the concept page that you could review. That yes, she will be. Once I have an approval to go with it, then we will get into the weeds as far as what we would like to see in the mural. I was basically trying to get what it would cost to do, on this wall. I gave her the measurements and, some guidelines to go by to develop the design.
Did you reach out to the Arts Guild of Davidson County?
I have not.
We have reached out to them for 2 years and we can't get a response from them. So I think it's time that we move on.
Oh, I didn't know that so you haven't.
But
I have not.
originally they came to us and wanted to do a mural and then that fell through.
Well, those people left, the ones I told you that were going to do it, I told you who they were, Danny Hill and them.
You gave me that, and in our last meeting when we met, I asked for their contact information and some art designs that they've done, and I didn't get anything back. So, I've just kind of researched out as
But
other
Danny's
options.
known far and wide, that's why I
Right.
thought,
Okay.
I could give you plenty of stuff for him.
She's a very good artist. I've seen several of her things, so I'll do whatever the board wishes for me to look into it. But I feel very positive about her work. I presented a different look last year as far as a swing set for the park, and this is actually images from New London. They have several of these within their park, very nicely constructed, very sturdy. I would not recommend doing the cord pad necessarily underneath it that's shown in this one image. But I have priced out and provided me treated post prices today. The brackets and chains I estimated because we're still working to get a calculation on what it would cost for those.
Paula, I heard back from, sorry to interrupt, but I heard back from my supplier, and he said that more than likely, if that's a custom piece, that it's not anything that they sell commercially, and you probably would need to have a local welder do it.
Okay, all right, we can look into
Maybe
it.
I can make him.
Yeah.
Ira, yeah, okay. And then I did look at a Hollywood swing to go under there. This is average. We could, certainly do a different style of swing, but just to get an estimate of what it could cost, around $629 for the swing.
I think you want the concrete because the ground will be wore out, and there'll be mud, there'll be a hole.
Like where they're doing the swing sets.
Okay. We can certainly go back and get a price for that. So, the area that I was thinking of doing it in, I thought it's really nicely grassed over there, but I see the concern. So it's not going to be like people, children swinging necessarily. So
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
it might be. It might be. But anyway, I can certainly go back and price that out. I had looked at an art display board, or it could even be used as an informational board, to put my thoughts is right there at the community market, between the building and the market. That would give us another avenue of displaying art within the community, and or we could use it as informational boards. This could actually be made into smaller versions and do just say like this intersection. But anyway, to do the 3-tier like is shown here, it's $1,725.
What is that material? Is it wood?
It is wood. And this is by a local cabinet maker. He actually did our portables at the market, so that is who I had to do that. I pulled together some pictures. I know these are not exactly like Commissioner Morris shared with us, but just some planters for the sidewalks. So there are a couple of different prices, whether you do a single one or a double one, and they go up in price based on the size that you use. So one thing we need to factor in when doing these, there are currently 3 planters at Harrison Park that the Master Gardeners did. I added 3 more planters back in the back behind the pavilion, and I think that's Commissioner Morris's area back there. I added 3 more planters back there. So those are having to be hand watered. I have asked the fire department to assist in watering the big garden that the Master Gardeners have done. So they've been very helpful in getting that done, especially until we establish, the roots and ground on those. The FFA department came out today to do the planters downtown. I have not been out, don't know that they got them all completed, but we ran into an infestation of ants in our planters. So a couple of them I know for certain were not able to be planted. So we're either looking at replacing dirt in those or spraying those and letting them sit until those come back. So again, those are additional planters that will have to be watered.
Regular ants or fire ants?
Fire ants.
So,
Python.
and they were covered.
Yeah.
So anyway, those will take a little longer. They had all intentions of getting those planted today, and like I said, I'm not for certain if they got all of them or any of them planted. If you have any questions on these, please share. I'm glad to look into anything that I've put together here.
What about welcome Denton banners?
Or where?
Well, we got about 10 brackets up with no banners on them.
Yeah, I thought we talked about fixing.
they just need to be replaced. Michael hadn't come back up from when the poles got put up.
No, I mean, we got that many banners up, that many brackets up with no banners on them.
Yeah, we got the banners, they just have to be put back up.
What's banner?
You have them, you took them down.
No, they, you didn't take them down.
They blew down some of them. I found one on the road. Where
Yeah.
that one
We
goes.
put them back up
Okay.
when they're brought here. We have them put back up, and now I don't know where all the others
I
are.
have to look.
When the Duke Energy or Windstream, whoever put up the new poles, we had to take them down. They just have to be put back up.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
Don't we need?
their
more?
own poles that they never touched, like one down at Klopman's, 2
It's
up
all
at
that old
CID's.
banner used to be on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
the
my apologies.
one down at Tacoma Park, Greenbrier. The banners are there, but no flags.
Okay, do you want us to get a updated cost on them?
Yeah, and we talked about, Ken had where people were gonna sponsor them. Yeah.
Project. Yeah.
Yeah, and Duke Energy, wouldn't approve it then, so we can push that back out to them and ask them if they would reconsider.
Here, ask for forgiveness like we usually do.
Yeah.
Cause that would be nice, but to have some.
Yeah, I mean, the brackets are all over town, but no flags on them.
Michael, can you have one of the guys go around and see where they are and how many that would be? And we'll reach out to that company, I've still got the information on the computer, and ask them for an updated cost on replacing those. And we can revisit the banner project for businesses within town.
Yeah, 'cause that'd be a pretty way of getting them.
I know, when Mayor Ward and I and Ken Campbell went around to Mount Gilead, they were really vibrant and beautiful there, but they're not so pretty there anymore.
Yeah, they are
They
fading.
didn't last very long, yeah. So, but we can.
Ours has been up 10 years and they still look too bad.
Yeah, they look good.
We took all the old ones down, we just had the new ones, and that was from 2020? Is that right?
I don't think
I don't think it was that same. I think it's a little bit older
They were
than that.
replaced when Ken was here.
Yeah, he wasn't here in 2020.
He was.
But it would look nice to have some different color to them, a little something different.
I mean, I thought there was added a lot to the town.
Yeah.
And you,
And the brackets was as much as expensive as the other.
We ended up making the brackets early.
I know a lot of towns changed the banners out, so they'll have like 4 seasons, and they'll change them out periodically. I've even seen one town, the flag program we're doing at the park for our veterans, I saw one town that had something similar to that on their poles. It was really neat. It's like they were focusing on different things, different branches of government, military. It was a very nice display.
Yeah, they do
And
that
if we
in
get sponsors, we
Calabash.
could probably do that.
Yeah, Calabash, they do that, and that really looks good.
Yeah, Calabash maybe where I saw that. So we'll get some prices on that for you.
It'd also not be nice to have the town seal with the year, like when it was established and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get that pulled out.
That's how we did that, yeah.
We also, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we talked about this last year, so, they replaced the poles down in the center of town. We have some lines, I believe, Michael, we have a work order in for that to, take down the old, Christmas lights lines, I believe. And then they're gonna be able to remove those 2 poles, so that is still in the works. We have not forgot that. I did reach out to Windstream about the other poles, and they're waiting on Spectrum to move over their service to the new, poles. So, hopefully I can stay on them to get the old poles taken down and get that cleaned up, because in speaking to Windstream last year, they were, they had delays, so they said Lexington was out 5 years getting theirs done, but I don't know that anybody's staying on them, so I'm hoping staying on them will help them to get those taken out.
Something fell down at Brittany's, she got some man helped get the wires back up, and one fell down into the to the sidewalk
Where?
on Saturday morning, and, at M.A. Pickett's, and it was
I had
on,
to go get the ones up at the post office the other day.
and so
We had
somebody,
one today, and it was an old dead line. I had Windstream come out. It was an old dead line that Windstream and Spectrum had used. So they took it down today.
yeah, that one
So
had
that
fell
was
Saturday.
out here.
Yeah, that one fell Saturday morning, so somebody that used to work at somewhere got it up for her because it was, and they're still on the sidewalk.
Yep.
On their scooters. Chief James.
And if y'all have any questions
Maybe
on that
think about
swing, you know, Tom's at the splash pad, he's got the license for Davidson County to inspect and do that, because I don't think they're gonna let y'all put concrete under a swing.
It's not a swing set,
I
it's
know
just a,
if it's in a park, I'm pretty sure Thomas told us last time that,
Well, that's in New London.
New London has them everywhere in their park.
like I say, Thomas went to that school through the state of North Carolina, and he's licensed to do it, so he can tell you anything you want to know.
okay, we'll reach out to him. Yeah. I hadn't heard from Thomas in a while. Give him more time.
Because I know that's why we can't have but what we have in our playground. Remember the swing radius and all? You can't have nothing so close and so far behind. It's just unreal.
Another thing that, in looking at the park and the playground itself too, is the picnic tables that are there. We thought about trying to replace those with something more permanent. The wood seems to be one that's right behind the pavilion is holding up well, but the one in the playground is not. But having like a metal or the,
Rubber coated.
yeah, something, have those replaced, I think it would be a.
The one in the
nice
shade's
addition.
pretty good. The one out in the sun is
Yeah, yeah, but we could move the one there somewhere else and potentially put 2 that match, one inside the playground and one outside. But we've looked at, trying to get some prices on those as well, and try to add to that area. Is there anything else you guys can think of that we talked about you want us to look into?
Did we ever get a price on painting the old public works building?
I thought they said they're supposed to start that coming up.
Well,
Last I
Those
heard,
gutters,
yeah.
I don't think you need gutters, like you need paint.
last I heard, you were getting a quote from the
Yeah,
guy that
Mr.
was gonna
Smith.
do that, and I haven't heard anything back. So I've
What's
not
his
asked
name?
any others.
Melvin,
the Smith builder guy, what's his name?
Steve?
Kim?
Kim, yeah, Kim's going over there, he's gonna quote.
Okay.
There's some facial boards that have to be replaced
Yeah,
around the,
that's what he's gonna quote.
okay.
And, what's his name up there in Silver Valley? Best. You know Best?
Mm-hmm.
I would appreciate it if everyone of y'all called him and say, are you coming to Denton to quote him something? Because every
We're
time
gonna
I
give
see-
you a man, you're gonna do them. That's all we need to do. Be done with it.
Oh, and did you give him a copy of this? Okay, if y'all look, that yellow dump truck's on this thing. I forgot to mention that yellow dump truck. Lynn Hilton bought that first year he come to work here.
Wow.
That's our last piece of junk. Just let you
Come from her friend.
And also, where are we at with, are we gonna do sidewalks any this year, 2025?
That's what we're having a hard time getting anybody to quote.
Well, that's what, we're just gonna wait till we get somebody.
And I think that it's such a small job that bigger companies that do bigger jobs are just not interested, but you really need, you know, if you're gonna quote it out, you need a professional, and it's just such a small job. Like,
Yeah. Nathan Best do that. I asked him about it.
Nathan Best could do it if you could get Nathan Best to do it.
He said he would do it.
Yeah, he told me to do it like 18 times. I ain't seen him yet.
Well, I'll get him down here.
Down here. Al
that
Campbell
who we
said he
met
had
with
some-
No, Nathan's right there in Silver Valley.
The other guy never came either.
Best Construction.
Are there any water lines or sewer lines or anything under that concrete?
Water line.
You know, meter box has gotta be going around. That ain't gonna be cool.
Well, Nathan said he's done it before.
Oh, Nathan's done a lot of concrete.
Yeah.
But I think I'll be doing it before Nathan gets down here doing
Yep.
We need to
You wanna
remember
bet that
town hall,
cheeseburger?
it. I don't know.
500,000.
I'm
that
I'm
we
going in debt
need.
now. Let me get the steel at the sewer plant done.
Pass on that.
Okay.
I wonder if
Alright.
we need to have him come Monday night.
Probably.
I know we talked about going
Yeah.
because it's so,
But he
But
could
it
do a
would be a-
PowerPoint, could he not?
not with what he's
Yeah.
got. I mean, what he's got is so, I don't even know how.
He's
that-
old school.
Well, it's all of his big
It's-
computer.
Yeah.
I wonder if he could save it onto like if he had a laptop, if they had a laptop with their program, maybe possibly do that, but
I can ask him that.
ask him.
He acts like
I mean, we
it.
should.
He didn't act like it the day that I talked to him, but I didn't specifically ask him that. But I
Andrew,
just-
that his partner, he might would, I mean, I don't know. but
Yeah,
He might could do it on.
Just let us know if you want us to add him to the.
okay, I'll see.
That would be
If we
great if
can
you could.
come
Yeah.
Monday.
And Johnson Park, where are we at with
So
that?
Chris Phelps has reached out and he is working on some funding opportunities for us. And he'll probably have a presentation June, I
I
would
would
think.
think so.
Yeah, I think he secured some funding.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
good.
yep. Okay, thank you guys for reaching out and doing all that you've done for your budgets for next year. I know it's difficult. As they stated, we don't know what the costs are gonna be. And, you know, we have to budget as best as we can and look, maybe have to look at it mid-year and see where we are and make adjustments there if we see that things are really,
Yeah, we
Beyond cost.
we really want to have a budget, up-to-date budget every quarter for commissioners.
and that's something Paul and I had talked about, still rolling out to you guys this year. So
Do you have anything, Angel?
I'll bring everything in by Monday night. This mine will cover your revenues and things like that. So
I mean, about like paving and what you have plans and all?
So as far as paving, we've left that with our trans systems, is that who they are? And he is working on getting the AST this year. Next year, we'll still budget like we normally do, cover power bill and plus what the board is recommending. Again, AST should be done this spring, summer, through what we had planned on with everything last year. As far as looking forward, the mayor and I have looked at, parking lot at the farmer's market. That was an option that he's looked at, wanting to see what we could do with having that paved. Gates, JP Gates has given us a quote on that, so I'll bring that to the table. And looking ahead at, raises, that's the other thing that's gonna be, what can we do? And it is vital that we keep in line with everyone else as much as we can, so that we don't lose the help that we've invested so much time and money into. We've got great employees now, we've just gotta get them where they need to be and get them to want to be there. Sometimes money talks, as you guys know. Grant processes, we still are, we almost finished up our water line project. I've talked to Heather Miller today with Labella. We're still gonna
Really?
have some money on the table.
What did she say about the conveyor?
I didn't talk to her about that.
I mean, it was February 24th, and she said probably 2 weeks. Didn't she say 2 weeks? Maybe a month at the most? What's the date? Anybody know?
So I didn't speak to her about that particular project. I spoke to her about the rehab on the water lines because we have money left. And we're trying to figure out where we can use that money in that 2-inch water line replacement so that we don't send money back to the state, and what they would allow us to do as an amendment to that particular grant. So.
While they're still here?
Well, I don't know a little bit why they're still here, because they're packing up now. So they were gonna do Carroll Avenue, but, it's only 100 foot, that's what Michael shared with us today.
We did that
And so
several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
we don't know that the 100 foot from Boyd Bird's driveway to 109 is viable. That it just goes to the middle of 109 and it doesn't.
I'd like, if they're gonna do that, I'd like to see them tie into the line coming off the water tank. Or if they got money left over, boring the 109 tie-in over Harbor from that dead end hydrant they put on first.
Which is what I've asked her to look into. But they do have, she did provide some updates, and I will get all that to you. Today's been an extremely busy day, just coming back from vacation and meetings and phone calls and everything to get back to. It's been nuts, so.
Some of the information she gave, I put in the message.
On Friday?
On Friday,
Okay.
excuse me. So double check that.
I will.
And we're hoping, Angel called them, they'll pick up that little job Walker left in 109, that killing that service and that, so.
We still have on that project on 109, Sam Walker could not locate the line in order to cut that line. That was part of the project. It was to kill that little service line there. He could not locate it. State utilities said they felt like they could. So, we are hopeful that they can look at that and be able to finish that project out for us. Sam, his portion's finished, but we just need to get that little piece to close out that grant. So,
How much money we got left over?
I'll give you that figure tomorrow, because I'm not sure on that, Commissioner Morris.
I don't know that she gave me a figure.
Okay, well, this would be on the project that ran through some.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So I'll provide funding plan for that. Is there anyone that you know that may be interested in it? Is that,
No, I
Okay.
was just wondering how much money we had left over.
okay. We'll get that here to you tomorrow. And as Michael stated, the AMI is running along really smoothly. And we also, Wooten has been in town working diligently on locating the sewer lines, fixing some problems that they've come along, so that's gonna make a difference in what we budget out for next year as well.
Are they doing the hydraulic testing?
They will, as part of that schedule that I gave you guys, I think, at the last meeting, down at the bottom of the letter that they provided.
And if anybody from Mount Vista calls, we're gonna truck them through the woods, they're gonna GIS that sewer line up in Mount Vista.
When you gonna put the meters in down there?
As soon as I get to you.
I talked to Sunny today, and they
He
are
hasn't sent
supposed
you
to
that
send.
yet?
I'm sorry?
He hasn't sent you that yet?
I have not received it, so I talked to them today, asked where it was.
He told me he's waiting on you to sign it.
I signed it before I went on vacation. So, we had that discussion already today. and, they have got the testing back on the line, so they're ready to go. They're good to go and install them.
Anyone else?
So we supposed to put him in there?
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Are you gonna
Make a
be
motion
taking
to
out?
adjourn. Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. We're
Who did you? Which one? What, we just put half of them in? Are we just putting half the meters in?
12.
Wait.